In this video, we would be looking at a very exciting game played in the Grand Chess Choose Superbit Poland Rapid and Blitz. It's a Blitz tournament where the time control is 5 minutes plus 2-second increment, and the game is between none other than Gukesh, who has been selected to fight against Jingleren for the World Championship title, versus Magnus Carlsen. It is a very interesting game, so I don't want to waste any further time, so let's start. So Gukesh is playing with the white pieces, and he starts with 1 e4. Magnus plays the move g6, d4, d6, knight to c3, and it looks like he's going to play the kings in there, but he plays the move c6. Now we have bishop to e3, knight to f6, knight d7. So basically, what Magnus is playing is considered one of the most solid setup to play with the black pieces. Nothing wrong with this particular structure. Knight d7, f3, b5, expanding on the queen side, h4. So Gukesh is making all the sensible move. Have put the knight on c3, got a very beautiful center, put the pawn on f3 defending the pawn, and now he's playing with h4, h5. Knight to b6 by Magnus, bishop to d3, h5, long castle. So in this type of position, white's idea is to play knight e2 and try to play something like g4, attack on the king side. Now we have the move bishop to g7, knight to h3, and here first Magnus chops off the knight, giving up the bishop pair, but now the idea was to put the pawns at the light square. f4, and now we have the move d5. So basically he gave up the bishop because he wanted to put the pawns on the light square. After d5 we have the move e5 by Gukesh, knight to d7, now we have rook to g1 by Gukesh, a very interesting move. After rook g1, a normal move would have been to play knight c4. Obviously capturing the knight is a bad idea because after pawn takes, black gets a huge amount of counterplay on the queen side. So after queen e1, black can already chop off the bishop, followed by capturing the pawn on h4, and black is pretty happy. But going back, that's not exactly what happened in the game. In the game we had the move bishop to f8 by Magnus. He wanted to use this bishop on e7, maybe trying to play on the queen side, which makes sense, but he simply missed a very powerful move played by Gukesh. You can try to pause the video and try to find the best move happened in the game. Okay, so if you found this move, congratulations on finding this amazing rook sacrifice. Rook into g6, a very strong move. Basically the whole point here is, if you try to capture the rook, now white can already capture the pawn giving a check. King here, and already very strong move f5. Idea is to simply play bishop g5 and it's a mate, or else you're going to lose the queen if you try to move the knight, and the game is completely over for black. A very strong move played by Gukesh. So if in this position, if black tries to play like knight into e5, capturing the pawn, trying to make space for the king, white can take the knight, takes, check, and now queen to f2. And here white have got 4 points against 5, but because black's king is just too weak, white is having a very decent position. Going back, in the game we had the move knight to c4 first by Magnus, and now we have queen to g2 by Gukesh. The best move would have been to first chop off the knight, takes, and now rook to g3, simply coming back with a rook, saying that he's a pawn up. Now his idea is already to play the move f5, attack on the king. And the position is already winning for better for white. But in the game we had queen g2, and now the whole point here is, if Magnus tries to capture the free bishop on e3, attacking the queen and the rook, it's not really working because white can take the pawn with a check, 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 and now knight f6 is the fourth move, takes, takes. So we have this position after queen h4, knight e2, defending this pawn, and here white is having 7 pawns, black is having 6 pawns, and black is an exchange up, but because black's king is just so weak, it compensates for an exchange. So overall this position would have been fine for Gukesh, but that's why after queen g2, Magnus found a very brilliant move in the position. You can try to pause the video and try to find the best move happened in the game. Okay, so if you found this amazing move happened in the game, kudos to you. Knight d into e5. So fireworks begin. Knight d into e5, sacrificing the knight, not capturing the rook. So now white's already having tons of option. In the game we had rook to g3. Basically, if you try to capture the knight in this position, it's not really working because your black can already capture the bishop. And after the same variation, black is also having this d7 square at the place of king e7. So after king d7, black is completely winning. So that was the whole point. Capturing the knight is not really possible. So now you kind of have to move the rook from the g6 square. So rook g3 in order to defend the bishop takes. And when the dust settled, it's already better for black because white is already having a very bad pawn structure. So Magnus chopped off another pawn, rook f1, bishop to d6, king b1, long castle. Queen c2, king b7 defending the c6 pawn, knight e2, rook g8 getting on the open file, f5, good move, rook f3 getting some counterplay, takes, knight to c1. We have a rook trade, and obviously you can't really trade all the material because black is already having an outside pass pawn which eventually wins the game for black. So you have to keep the material on the board. But bishop e7, queen to e3, takes, check, capturing another pawn, piece falling apart, h4, knight e2, pawn push, bishop d6. Like pawn simply just pushed down the board, king b1, and after king a7 on the move number 43, where the idea of Magnus is simply to play king rook to b7 and the game is over for Gukesh. So that's why after on the move number 43, Gukesh decided to resign the game. I would say overall, Gukesh played a very good game when he had enough time on his clock. But as we know that Gukesh is not very well, not under his best performance when it comes down to last seconds on his clock. But overall, a good game played by both the players. Basically, after the tournament has successfully ended, Magnus is the champion of the tournament, whereas in the second position we have Wei Yi from China, who also played phenomenally good in this particular tournament. Magnus just won half a point with the lead against Wei Yi. So overall, a very close fight in this particular tournament, but overall a very good game played by Gukesh. Magnus played a weird opening, but a very solid opening, I would say. He's pretty well versed with this particular opening, a very solid opening. He has already played this opening in numerous number of times. h5, and okay, Gukesh played a very well game after, I would say, when he captured the pawn on g6, but he simply missed this knight e5 idea, and the moment Magnus got better, he never let his advantage slip out of the position now. Overall, a good game. So guys, that's it for this video. If you learned anything new from this particular video, make sure to like the video, share this video with everyone, and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you're new to our channel. I'm going to come up with these exciting videos like this. Subscribing the channel is free for you, but it helps us to motivate to make more videos like this. I'm going to see you soon, so till then stay tuned and keep watching Oneshot Chess.